Hello and welcome to this kind of random irregular video today. I just quickly wanted to make a tutorial on how I meter light when shooting film because I've gotten a lot of questions about the app that I use and just how I do it in general, so I thought why not make a quick video about it. So, in case you're a beginner watching this and you need a quick overview on light metering, let me briefly explain. When shooting film, you obviously can't see what your exposure looks like on a mirrorless camera nowadays, so there are multiple ways of finding out what settings you need to choose for a good exposure, such as the Sunny 16 method, using a light meter, or the way I do it, use a light meter app. I think these light meter apps haven't quite gained the trust yet that I find they'd deserve. I mean, I'm not super experienced, I've only used 2 of them, but those 2 have been fine. So what these apps do is basically just use the camera of your phone to measure the light values and tell you what settings to use. Currently, I use an app called Light Meter, but without the vowels. Once you open the app, you'll see 3 settings: shutter speed, aperture, and ISO. And at the bottom is a button that says Take Reading. Press that and the app will open the camera. Then you point your phone at the scene that you want to photograph, and if necessary, tap on the screen and slide to adjust the exposure. So here you're basically telling the app what you want the photo to look like. Then tap the middle button to take a reading and you'll return to the view of the settings. Now these settings in the middle are the settings that will give you the same exposure you had in the reading. So let's say you're shooting with Kodak Gold 200. Then you can set the ISO to 200, and I like to tap this lock button here to prevent myself from mistakenly changing the ISO. And then you can just set the aperture to whatever you like and the app will automatically change the shutter speed. And that is how I know what settings to use on my camera. Depending on the scene I'm photographing, I might decide to overexpose the photo a little, in which case I would simply go lower with the shutter speed or my aperture. I don't use the app for that, I always get a balanced reading from the app. That's how I do it. It's not professional, I'd say, but it works for me and it might work for you, and I got so many questions about this process, so I thought I'd share it with you, even though I'm pretty sure there are better ways of metering light. One more thing before ending the video. This app I've so far only found for iOS. However, I used to use an Android phone and had a different light metering app for that phone, which also worked just fine. It's literally called Light Meter and is by WB Photo. I'll leave a link to both apps in the description. It's very similar, but the main difference is that instead of taking a reading once, you have a live view of your exposure, so you can point it at different areas of your composition and get the settings for the shadows or the highlights or whatever you point it at immediately. I don't think one is much better or worse than the other, they're just different. So in conclusion, those are the 2 apps I've used and both worked fine for me. I suppose my film photography is the ideal example for that. All the analog photographs I've shot on a manual SLR have been metered according to the readings of one of these 2 apps. I hope this was helpful and could clarify the topic for you. That's it for today, a short one, and I shall see you again soon in another video. Until then, goodbye.